Okay, folks, buckle up because we are going deep today. Deep diving into this idea of strength through faith.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. And we'll be looking at it through, the words of the Bible, specifically Philippians 4.1 and some verses around that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so, I think this is something that even if you're not, a hardcore believer, this idea of like, where do we get our strength from when things are tough?
Yeah. Right.
Like I think that resonates with everything.
It does. It's a universal human experience for sure.
Yeah. So let's jump right into this powerhouse. Verse Philippians 4.13.
Okay.
It says, and seriously, I get chills every time I read this. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
It's powerful.
It is so powerful, right? And I think, it's easy to read that and be like, oh yeah, I could do anything.
Yeah.
But we got to back up a little bit.
Context, right. Context is key.
Yeah, context.
It is.
So tell us a little bit about, who wrote this and when and where.
Yeah, so this was written by the Apostle Paul, who was, a key figure in early Christianity. And get this, he was actually in prison when he wrote these words.
Wow.
Yeah. So think about that. I can do all things.
Not exactly, winning the lottery or, climbing Mount Everest.
Right, exactly. Not necessarily about achieving worldly success, but more about enduring hardship.
Yeah, like finding that strength to keep going when things are really, really tough.
Exactly. And that's where faith comes in. Paul is saying that his strength is not coming from himself, his own willpower or, physical strength.
It's coming from something else, something bigger.
Yes, exactly. It's about relying on something beyond himself, in this case, his faith in Christ.
So it's not just like a, positive affirmation, like I could do anything I set my mind to. It's deeper than that.
Much deeper. It's about tapping into a source of strength that's bigger than our own limitations.
So how do we, take that idea and apply it to our own lives?
Yeah.
I mean, we all face challenges, right? Whether it's, work relationships, health issues.
Absolutely. And I think that's where this verse can be so powerful. It's not saying that faith will magically make all our problems disappear.
Right.
But it can give us the resilience to face them.
To not give up. To keep going even when we feel like we've hit a wall.
Exactly. It's about finding that inner strength to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Okay, so we've got this incredible verse from Paul. But I think it's interesting to see how this idea of strength through faith shows up throughout the Bible.
Absolutely. It's a recurring theme.
Yeah, and we've got another great example from the Old Testament, Isaiah 40.31.
Oh, yeah.
It says, "But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint."
I love that imagery.
It's so powerful, right?
It is. That image of the eagle soaring effortlessly? It's not about struggling or forcing things.
Yeah, it's about trusting, allowing yourself to be carried by something bigger.
Exactly. And I think that's such a beautiful metaphor for faith. It's not about striving or trying to control everything. It's about surrendering to something greater than ourselves.
Surrender. That's a big word. So how do we do that? What does it look like to wait for the Lord in a practical sense?
Well, I think it starts with recognizing that we don't have all the answers. We're not in control of everything.
Which can be tough to admit sometimes.
It can be. We live in a culture that values self-reliance and independence, but faith requires a certain amount of humility.
Yeah, a willingness to say, I need help, I can't do this alone.
Exactly. And I think that's where prayer meditation, even just being still, can come in. It's about quieting the noise in our minds and opening ourselves up to a power beyond our own understanding.
It's almost like stepping back and creating space for something else to enter in.
Exactly. And sometimes that waiting means being patient. Trusting that things will unfold in their own time, even when we don't understand why things are happening the way they are.
It's not always easy, though, is it? To just let go and trust.
It's not. We're human. We want to control things. We want to fix things. But sometimes the strongest thing we can do is surrender.
Yeah, and that leads us to another verse that I think really challenges our typical ideas about strength.
Okay.
2 Corinthians 12.9. "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness."
Wow. Now that is a powerful statement.
It's mind-blowing, right? Like, how can weakness be the place where power is made perfect?
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what we're usually told.
Right. We're taught to hide our weaknesses, to project an image of strength and competence.
But this verse is saying something totally different.
Yes. It's saying that true strength comes from acknowledging our limitations, our need for help, and allowing a greater power to work through us.
So it's not about denying our struggles or pretending we have it all figured out.
No, it's about being honest with ourselves and with God.
And I think that's where real transformation can happen.
Absolutely. When we let go of our ego's need to be in control, that's when we can truly experience the power of grace.
And find strength in the most unexpected places.
Exactly. You know, in our vulnerability and our brokenness, that's where we can connect with something much bigger than ourselves.
Wow. So we've gone from Paul finding strength in prison to the soaring eagle, to this idea that true power is found in weakness.
It's a journey, isn't it?
It is. It's a journey. And I think it's a journey that each of us is on in our own way.
Absolutely. You know, whether we call it faith or spirituality or something else entirely, I think we all have moments where we experience a power beyond ourselves.
Yeah. And those moments can be transformative.
Yeah.
They can change the way we see ourselves, the way we see the world.
And the way we face our challenges. You know, when we can tap into that source of strength that's bigger than ourselves, anything is possible.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, I hope this has given you some food for thought, maybe even a new perspective on where to find strength when you need it most.
I hope so too. You know, I think it's worth asking ourselves, what are the things that make us feel truly strong? And where can we turn when we feel weak?
Great questions to ponder.
And
And on that note, we'll wrap things up here. But the conversation doesn't have to end here. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep seeking out those sources of strength that resonate with you.
beautifully said.
Until next time.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.